bros and heroes. Gonna tell you about bros and heroes. Gonna tell you about
comic books, costumes, facts, boots, and other stuff.
In this week's issue, Captain Carrot and his amazing zoo crew.
Welcome in to Bros, Foes, and Heroes. This is episode 7. I am your host, Zach, joined by the kitty pride to my colossus, Mr. Mike. How are you doing, Mike?
Fantastic, Zach. I know that we've got another wonderful episode in store for everyone who listens.
We do, and I teased it a little bit last episode just by saying we were in the animal kingdom.
Yeah.
And that is because our heroes, plural, today, because there's not just one of them, Mike.
So in the vein of the Avengers or the Justice League.
It's a superhero team.
Did Zack Snyder have anything to do with this?
Not yet.
Okay, good.
Wait till, well, I'll save that for you. We are talking about Captain Carrot and his amazing zoo crew. Now, this was a comic created back in 1982, or actually that's when it was first published, the issue 1.
Right.
Technically, it wasn't even issue 1. Do you remember back in the day, and we'll take a moment to talk to the kids here,
Hey, kids.
who are comic book fans.
Hang on, let me turn my chair around and sit in it backwards.
Oh, yeah.
Turn my hat
I guess
to the back.
Yeah. Well, I was going to do the one where like the hat was like slanted to the side.
so we can
seem
rap.
cooler. Yeah.
Sure.
Let us rap with you, kids. Back in the day, when you would buy comics, it wasn't unusual for publication companies to promote upcoming titles by having like previews at the end of other stories.
Sure. Yeah.
So you would pick
I
up,
get that.
you'd pick up Iron Man, and maybe at the end DC was pitching something new with, I don't know, the Green Goblin. So they give you like a,
Right.
that's
right.
how this started. Its first appearance in 1982 was actually in Teen Titans number 16.
Okay.
And it was a 16-page kind of preview.
16-page preview.
Which is a large
Wow,
preview.
that is a lot.
Because
yeah.
usually it was like 8, maybe at the most is a big one. Sometimes you get 4.
Right.
It all just kind of depends. And it was more of just to kind of sell people on what's coming up. Well, this 16-page preview basically gives us the origin of Captain Carrot and the Zoo Crew.
Gotcha.
It goes on more from there, but
was it a lab?
no.
Were they in a like a pound?
No.
A medical testing
No,
facility?
they're not. Their powers, I would say, are completely. There is a DC hero that is completely responsible for giving them all their powers.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, nice. I'm looking forward to that.
So originally was a 20-issue run that ran from 1982 to 1983.
20 issues. Wow.
Yes. After this, I guess if you look it up, is kind of considered issue 0, even though it's part of Teen Titans. But there's 20 after that, and then later on, they canceled the series before it was done, and they have a series later on that they released that was, they did 3 double issues to kind of make up what they had already done that hadn't
to get rid
put
of
out.
the rest
Exactly.
of the stuff. Yeah.
This comic is created, and I guess the best way to do it before we hop in is that these are all basically their cartoon animals
Right.
in this world.
What are we dealing with here? Is this DC, Marvel?
It is DC.
It is DC. Okay. Well, then it makes total sense.
It is DC, and all of this is like they're supposed to look like Saturday morning cartoon strips in a way.
Yeah.
But are in this world, but they're also superheroes.
Right. I got you.
So when I would look everywhere, the phrase that I kept coming across was funny animal properties. So apparently this was DC's last funny animal property back in 82, but there were other ones. I just didn't realize that funny animal properties was something that comic book publication companies held dear.
I think that maybe this is a play for a much younger crowd than they were getting.
This could be. This
is the Camel cigarettes of DC Comics.
Exactly. There's a lot of parody and stuff in here as well. So obviously I know that a lot of this is meant to be taking tongue in cheek, and I realize what they were doing, but still some of this, it's too great not to share. So
when you look at this though, you don't get the same feeling you do when you see, what's his name in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Rocket.
Rocket. You don't get the same feeling.
I don't
here.
know how we were talking about animals, and the first one I said was a tree.
Yeah,
We've been talking about the zoo crew.
Yeah, but that's here and there.
That's true. Rocket is more.
Rocket's mean.
Yeah,
he's a mean dude. Yeah, I mean, but you buy into it pretty quickly.
Yes,
that this is a thing.
Yeah,
they're too Saturday morning.
Yeah, exactly.
Looking. Yeah,
but let me go ahead and give credit where credit is due, because this was created by Roy Thomas and Scott Shaw. Now, Scott Shaw's name is often spelled Scott Shaw ! At the end of the Shaw, or Scott Shaw with the question mark at the end of the Shaw.
I didn't know you could do that.
I had no idea why. And then going back and looking, I realized it's how he signs his art.
Oh, okay.
And stuff that he does. So, yeah. So, it's either Scott Shaw, or Scott Shaw, question mark.
Okay. Well, good for him, man.
Now, Scott Shaw worked on a lot. He's worked on a lot of like TV animation. He's also done, I wrote down there, movies that he's worked on as well.
Yeah.
I read through them all. For some reason, the only one I can remember right now is Mulan, the second Mulan, but he's done bigger and better things than that.
Right.
TV wise, and then comics wise, he did a lot of like the Hanna-Barbera cartoon comic crossovers that they would have him do.
Okay.
And he's also done comics for The Simpsons and Sonic the Hedgehog and Archie.
I've never understood those comics, but okay.
Okay.
It just seems like a play on something that's already popular, and you go, hey, how about a comic? That's easy.
So he's at least a very talented. He can change different animation styles. We'll give Scott the credit there.
Gotcha.
Roy Thomas.
He did do Archie, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. Now, well, it's not like the original Archie. I don't think it's like newfangled Archie.
I'll screw that too.
Roy Thomas, on the other hand, is a heavyweight.
Yeah, I'm looking at this list you've got here.
He's Stan Lee's first successor as editor-in-chief of Marvel Comics.
Yeah, that's something.
And also, he has co-created, let me just run through this list of characters he's co-created, Mike.
Yeah.
Wolverine, Vision, Doc Samson, Carol Danvers, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Ultron, Yellow Jacket, Defenders, Man-Thing, Red Sonja, Adam Warlock, Morbius, who's that vampire Ghost Rider,
the one they made the horrible movie
Squadron,
nobody's seen yet.
Squadron Supreme. Have they released it yet?
No, that's what I'm saying. Nobody's seen it yet.
Nighthawk, and then I made sure to put not our Nighthawk.
Oh, gotcha. This is an N, not a K.
Yeah, and then Havoc, Banshee, Valkyrie, and a lot of others.
Wow.
So this guy.
You know, honestly, I mean, if you just took 3 or 4 out of there,
yes,
you would say the guy was super accomplished. I mean, freaking Wolverine.
Oh, exactly.
So Doc Samson.
Yes, I know a little bit about Doc Samson.
Is that the big buff dude that has blonde hair and stuff? Is that the guy they made the movie of?
Yeah.
The Doc Samson movie. You ever seen that one?
I haven't, funny enough.
Weird green things start coming out of the emeralds and
I haven't seen it.
Bite them like snakes.
I do have it, though.
I went to see that at a drive-in when I was a kid.
Really?
When it actually came out. Don't tell people when that came out.
Oh, I'm looking it up when it came out, actually.
Yeah, I bet it's 77, 78.
Well, actually, hold on. Maybe that's a different. Doc Samson was in. It's pulling up Marvel in the Incredible Hulk.
Okay.
So maybe that's a
different
Doc Samson.
Maybe it's it's Doc Savage, I think.
Yes, you are thinking of Doc Savage.
Doc Savage.
No, Doc Samson is played by Ty Burrell in the Incredible Hulk movie.
Doc Savage was basically, it was like Indiana Jones, but buff and
yes,
it was the movie was a lot like the Flash Gordon movie and stuff like that. You know,
I have the movie at home. I just haven't watched it yet.
Really?
I have it on DVD.
Yeah, you should watch it.
My uncle gave it to me kind of for the same reason.
What year?
There was one in 1975.
Hey, there you go.
It was played by, I'm trying to see who the actor was. Was it Ron Eli?
Probably.
Yeah, Ron Eli as Clark Savage, a.k.a.
Doc Savage. All right, we've gone way off the rails here.
Okay,
proved that my parents took me to see these movies when I was 6. So there we go.
So let's get into the origin of Captain Carrot and his zoo crew.
Yeah.
So basically, in this 16-page preview, we are on our Earth, regular Earth.
Okay.
Clark Kent works not as a newspaper reporter, but as a TV anchor.
Okay.
Because we're in the early 80s.
Sure.
And
sexier.
Yeah.
Sure.
And while we're talking about Superman now, I'm just going to throw out something that I hated about reading this whole thing.
Zack Snyder sucks.
This is definitely in the realm. In the 80s is when Batman started to outsell Superman.
Right.
Batman became DC's biggest thing
property.
right there in the 80s.
Sure.
And they were trying to do things with Superman all throughout kind of the 80s to get interest back in him. But this falls into the I can do everything type Superman. Like I have an answer to everything. And it's just super annoying in a way.
Yeah.
But Clark Kent is a TV anchor. And there's been different sightings all over, I guess, Metropolis or the world where they're at of people starting to act like monkeys. They're acting like they're...
Wait, what?
Yeah, they're acting like monkeys.
Okay.
They're basically acting like primates.
Okay.
Superman thinks that, all right, I'm going to go out and see what's up with this. Because Superman can figure it out.
Sure.
And as he's flying around, he notices a ray from out in space come and strike a man.
Hey, look at that ray.
Yeah, and it comes and strikes a man, and the man immediately starts acting like a monkey.
Okay.
So he decides, I'm going to go out to see
He
where
immediately starts acting like a monkey.
Well, yeah,
what
he's just like,
phrase.
And he almost gets hit by a truck and stuff.
As monkeys do.
Exactly.
Sure.
I made sure to put in here that this is a oversimplified and just like, because there's a lot going on, so I'm trying to explain this as simple as possible.
Yeah.
So he tries to fly out of Earth to see where the ray's coming from.
Okay.
He can't break through Earth's atmosphere for some reason.
It doesn't say why.
There's something blocking him. But there's a meteor coming through.
It's Thursday.
Yeah. There's a meteor coming through that's about to hit Earth.
Okay.
So Superman thinks, if that can break through, I can use that to break through the other way.
Okay.
I can grab the meteor and like shoot back out the other way with it.
This is impeccable thinking.
Exactly.
I mean, it's yeah.
Now, it works.
Oh, okay.
But whatever
good for
force
him.
was holding him back, when it does, it breaks up the meteor into multiple pieces and it kind of scatters and it looks like it falls back down to Earth.
Oh.
And this whole thing has left Superman kind of just woozy and out of it. And he decides, hey, I need to fly back down to Earth just to regain myself before.
Just take a nap or something.
Yep. He flies into what he thinks is the TV station that he worked at.
Uh-huh.
And he changes back to his clothes and he goes to sit down in a chair and he's not paying attention. And he sits down on a rabbit who is named Roger Rodney Rabbit.
He's not paying attention, and so he sits down on a rabbit.
Yeah,
And
well, or he sits in the chair right as the rabbit's about to.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, this is my chair. And then Clark, because he's fully dressed up as Clark Kent until he realizes that the entire world is all animals and there's no reason for him to protect his identity. So then he's Superman throughout the whole entire thing. But we are introduced to
Freaking
Roger.
Superman, man.
Dude.
Superman, get out of here.
So we
With
are
your red underwear.
introduced to Roger Rodney Rabbit. And a little bit about this because you would think, Roger Rabbit, just like I did.
Yeah.
So I went and I looked. Gary K. Wolf's book, Who Censored Roger Rabbit, came out in 1981, in June of 1981.
So that's the book that Roger Rabbit was based on?
That is the book that they used to make the movie.
It's odd to me that was a book.
Who filmed Roger Rabbit. You know, it's a lot different too, right?
Oh, is it really?
Yeah. The ending and everything's different too. Like,
guy didn't turn into a cartoon.
no,
freaking
no, that's not at all.
pour
It
people in acid?
involves a genie.
Ooh.
And Roger, like, cartoons are able to create like duplicates of themselves that only last a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
And then they like disintegrate. They use them as stunt doubles, kind of. And actually, like, Roger dies in the book.
Oh, wow.
And it's his duplicate that's helping Valiant try to figure out who.
Oh, cool.
It is a little bit different.
Yeah, I
but
might actually read that.
I did the research to see that came out 8 months before the comics release.
Okay.
I guess that maybe they just had the
I guess
idea
it's
and they
just
were working on it,
alliteration?
and it was just one of those. I would think
Yeah.
so. But because of this, and to avoid confusion later on, he is usually referred to as Rodney.
Gotcha.
So I guess they saw it, they liked the alliteration, and then
Yeah.
maybe after.
Then they went, oh, shit.
Well, at the same time though, you have to think it's just the book at that point. Like, I don't think Who Framed Roger Rabbit became a bigger part of the American zeitgeist.
Yeah.
Until after that movie.
Right,
so
right.
maybe it's just some weird thing there.
When did Roger Rabbit the movie come out?
88.
Oh, okay. So this is 7 years.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's just a book. And it could just be like, I don't think there was any, obviously,
Right. No intention.
Yeah, but so I just found that very weird and interesting. But Rodney works as
hang on one second. So Roger Rodney Rabbit is the alias of Captain Carrot, as Clark Kent is to Superman.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. All right.
That's exactly the way it is, even though he's not Captain Carrot yet.
Gotcha.
Right now, he's a comic book artist and writer, and his comic is just a lot of animals.
Sure.
Which is, they just call it JLA, which is a parody of Justice League America.
Yeah. Boy, DC, you're doing great stuff.
Later on, we find out that there is like a Justice League group that's real on like a separate planet. And again, some of it's, I'm not getting into that stuff. We're just talking about the characters.
This is why, like I tried to explain to my wife the other day about these multiple timelines and things. You know, these comic books, or the comic book companies, DC and Marvel both, DC mainly, but they would splinter all of their characters everywhere. And then at some point they had to go, okay, we got to rein it back in.
Yep.
Now these multiple timelines exist. How do we get rid of those?
And so that's why usually on this, I'll find like an era or a series to do. And like one day I was talking to my wife about this because we are going to do my wife. We are talking to, I don't know why I said we were talking to, like we're interviewing. We were talking to some comics. That we're going to do like Batman and Superman and stuff like that. But the way I'm going to approach it, because obviously if we sat down and did one, it would take us forever.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to focus on specific arcs of where it's just crazy.
Yeah, I like that. Sure.
So like we'll have a Batman episode coming up soon, and I'm focusing on All-Star Batman because that's Frank Miller for 10 issues.
Right.
And it's just stupid, the stuff that Batman does.
Batman addicted to crack.
Exactly.
That kind of thing.
That's the stuff we're going to focus on because everybody knows.
Crack Man.
Exactly. Well, haven't come across that yet, but it's probably a DC character.
Crack Man.
Getting back to
he got a lot
Captain
of stuff
Carrot
done.
Here.
I got to say that about Crack Man. He would get a lot of things done.
For sure.
Yeah.
But
they weren't done well, but he did a lot.
But then the criminals just waited till he was strung out, and then that's when they would rob banks.
Sure. Yeah.
Rodney reaches out while he's talking to Clark. Or we'll just say Superman, because again, he switches out of his Clark Kent get up because none of these animals are gonna.
Puts the Superman thing back on. Okay.
Rodney reaches out to grab a carrot to eat, and we notice the carrot is glowing.
But he doesn't.
It's a cosmic carrot.
Sure.
He eats the cosmic carrot, and that is how he gains his powers.
Right.
And we find out that basically, you remember that meteor that Superman used to break back in?
Yeah.
When it broke up, it went and landed in different
Superman's
places.
fault.
It is. This is all Superman's fault.
Yeah.
It affected the carrots that make Rodney Captain Carrot.
Right.
And also these meteor pieces have landed other places and have affected other animals.
Other animals are eating these things or getting hit by them or whatever.
And are gaining powers.
Right.
So let's go ahead.
But no explanation as to why we're in a world full of animals.
No, we're just basically like DC has and Marvel has multiple Earths.
Yeah.
This is Earth C.
Oh, okay. Sure. Earth C.
Yep. Yeah. As it's called in the DC universe. There's also an Earth C minus and stuff.
Oh.
Because if we can make it any more convoluted, sometimes we like to.
Yeah.
Is the motto in comic books.
That's fantastic.
But just for the sake of this, we have found out that Superman is on a different Earth.
Yeah. If he would have just left things alone.
He eventually, like after a 3-issue run, he leaves and goes back to regular Earth.
Superman just goes, screw this.
He's like, I fixed what I came to do. Basically, they find out.
And now he can get out of the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And
he can get back. Well, the ray, like I'll just sum up that one that was shooting people. It was affecting people in Earth C the same way, except when it would strike the animals, since they act like humans already, it kind of reverts them back into how they would act as actual animals.
Oh.
So turns out it was the giant starfish on Pluto named Starro that was sending out a de-evolutionary ray.
This is the dumbest thing. This is the all-time dumbest thing so far. I mean, I can get with Dog Welder, you know, because it's just outrageous or whatever. But this type of story is one where DC goes, hey, let's do this kooky thing, right?
That's what it is.
And then we don't have to explain this or that, and we'll just, hey, everybody will love it. No, nobody loved
Here's
it.
a lot of animals. It's supposed to be funny. It's one of our funny animal properties.
Funny animal properties.
So let me go ahead, now that you know about how the Zoo Crew came about, let me go ahead and give you a little bit of their powers and tell you about the rest of the Zoo Crew, because we focus on Roger Rodney Rabbit. Those carrots that he eats, it gives him basically super strength. It increases his endurance. He can hear better.
Hey, by the way, we're brought to you by Testacuzzi.
That's right.
Talking about endurance.
Never mind.
I don't know.
And he also has, he can't fly, but he can bunny hop really far.
Sure.
He has a super
well,
powerful
that makes
leap.
sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
Let me tell you about the rest of the Zoo Crew, though, Mike.
When I say it makes sense, it makes zero sense.
It makes zero sense. And I'm going to give you, first we have Miss Felina Fur.
Okay.
Better known as Alley Cat Abra.
ALLEY-KAT-ABRA.
Alley Cat Abra is her hero name. She is a cat from New Orleans because every place in here
New Orleans
is an animal pun.
Okay, so this is the other thing I think of when I see this kind of stuff. There was a meeting, if not a series of meetings, to come up with all of this.
They went hardcore on all of this. New York is GNU York. Their president is Mallard Fillmore. I'm trying to remember other places. There's Tallahassee is like Tallahatchie. It's all bad.
So I guess, but honestly, I mean, if you're gonna go this hard on it, just go all the way.
I guess. Alley Cat Abra, she's a martial arts instructor.
Oh yeah.
She's also a student of mystical arts.
Is she the one with the big fro?
She is the one right next to Captain Carrot.
Oh, okay.
She has the
I see it with the
wand
hood.
and the mask and purple.
Yeah, she has a hood on.
Yep.
Basically.
So that is, and she
Cowl.
uses her magic wand for powers.
Okay.
We have the
Her
purple
magic
one there.
Wanda.
Yes. We have Peter Porkchop, aka Pig Iron.
Yeah.
Now he is a pig from Pigsburg,
Sure.
and he was hit by one of those meteor pieces. Alley Cat Abra, basically everybody gets their powers from these meteor pieces, but the meteor hits Pig Iron, and along with the meteor, he falls into like molten metal, and so it like transforms his body into like a living steel.
He becomes Pig Iron. Yeah, I get
Pig
it.
Iron.
Sure.
So he has like a bunch of strength and invulnerability.
Pig Iron, isn't Pig Iron like the original version of iron before it's like whatever they do to it to make it regular iron?
Sure.
I think it is.
I think you're right, but
Yeah.
I couldn't remember that one doing that. So there you go. Now you learn something. The more you know.
The
Sorry.
Aaron here.
Hey.
I've been looking through the DC database at this stuff, and Starro is fucking horrifying.
Yeah. Oh, the
star Pluto.
creature. Dude.
It's an intergalactic mind-controlling starfish, and on the wiki, it's attached itself to a little girl's face, and it's like holding one out at you. Like,
That's even better.
I didn't come across that
that's
one.
even better.
it's sick as fuck. Okay, producer out.
See ya. The consequent chemical reaction transformed his now enormous body into living steel with strength and invulnerability to match. Wonderful.
Exactly.
And his name is Peter Porkchops.
Peter Porkchops, which is apparently like a throwback from a 1940s comic too.
To me, this is almost like, so the words Peter Porkchops, it's like one of the things I hate in the world is those signs for like places that sell sausage or meat houses or whatever, butchers, I guess is what a meat house is.
Usually, yeah.
And it's like the pig cutting himself and he's so happy about it or whatever, or the pigs nuzzling together and
I have
and
never
they go,
seen-
love our sausage or whatever. The animals are always so happy that are being killed to make the thing you're eating.
Well, yeah, that's why we can eat those things.
But what
animals, I was taught at a young age that all animals are happy to die for our food.
Oh, okay. And then it says, what I'm comparing that to is the fact that his name is Peter and pork chops. Why does he know what pork chops are?
That is a really great point.
If they've always been these animals, these sentient animals, somebody had to cut up one and eat it to create the pork chop.
Well, and here's the thing too, is that's his last name. So he's from his whole family is named after
his
him.
lineage is pork chops.
Exactly.
I come from a long line of pork chops.
Maybe they're just like, hey, after we're done fighting crime, we'll just go up to that farm and become pork chops for people.
But what people? It's all talking animals.
That is true. There is like humans later. They just think they're like
Maybe
weird creatures, kind of like aliens.
Maybe the wolves eat them or something.
That would make sense.
You know, I don't know. I think we're putting far too much thought into it.
Probably. They didn't put as much into this, so
My
we
favorite
shouldn't
is
either.
the next one. My favorite is the next one because it makes no sense.
Not only did we do puns for where people were, but let me introduce you to Bird Rentals.
Okay, so this is obviously Burt Reynolds.
Yes.
But we changed it to Rentals.
Burt Rentals.
No, Bird.
Oh, I did.
Rentals.
You said Bird. Yeah, no.
So Burt Reynolds.
Bird Rentals.
Why change the Reynolds part?
Maybe they just wanted it.
Oh, we don't want to get sued
Yeah, we don't want to get sued. Change
for
it to,
using the word rentals.
change it to
or
Rentals. Yeah.
That's dumb.
His alias is Rubber Duck because, well, he's just an elastic duck. That's
Bring it on back, Rubber Duck.
He stretches his body into any shape. He is from Follywood, California.
I didn't catch the Fernia the first time.
Fernia. Both him and the next one are from there.
Yeah.
This sucks.
Yeah, it does suck.
He's given his power, like I said, to stretch his body into any shape and length when a meteor fragment struck his hot tub. Wouldn't he?
Sure. Yeah.
So he's out there chilling in his hot tub. Meteor strikes it. Now he can
As
just basically
sentient ducks
stretch.
are apt to do.
Another person that was out there with him was Miss Rova Barkett,
Oh, no.
also known as
She's the one with the big fro.
also my favorite of the Zoo Crew names, Yankee Poodle.
Yankee Poodle. Also from Follywood.
So she was a gossip columnist who was interviewing Bird Rentals while this happened.
What's the folly part of Follywood?
I don't know.
That's not an animal.
Maybe just because, like, oh, it's kooky.
Oh,
You know, like follies.
I guess.
It's not a word we necessarily use a lot now, but
Yeah.
it's kooky. Basically, she's a gossip columnist, though. The powers that she was given is she is able to project a repelling force
Okay.
in the form of blue stars with one hand and an attraction force with the other hand in the form of red and white stars.
So she shoots people with a flag.
She can push people away
Yeah.
or draw people to her based on the colors of stars and what hand she uses.
Right. Oh, the part I think we're missing here is that she was interviewing Bird
Yeah. No.
at the time.
And that's
so that
how she
means they
got-
were both in the hot tub. Probably.
Or she was sitting by the hot tub.
Yeah. Something was about to go down and then they got hit by these wacky meteors.
And then they got powers.
Yeah.
And instead of, and they
So
decided
that
to
tells
fight crime.
me in this world that it's okay for ducks and dogs to copulate. Is that, am I following the logic there?
Yes, you are.
Okay. All right. Just want that to be known that somewhere in this world there is probably a poodle duck hybrid that has been born.
Yeah, it's called a duck-billed platypus.
Ah, thank you.
There you go.
Insert rim shot.
We only have two more members left of the Zoo Crew here. We have Timmy Joe Terrapin,
Tim and Joe Terrapin.
who goes by Fastback.
Sure.
He is from the Okie Dokie Swamp in the American South. He was trying to catch a bus. Some of this I just have to write as is when I
Yeah.
found it because you can't write it any better. He is trying to catch a bus to Kansas City
Kansas City.
and was
Here I
struck
come.
by a meteor and gained the ability of super speed.
Sure.
So he's their
So he's
Flash
a turtle
equivalent.
that's really fast.
I had to love
Good thinking, guys.
I liked this note that I found. I had to add it too. Timmy Joe was not the first fast-moving turtle in his family. His uncle Merton McSnurtle
God bless you.
was secretly the terrific Whatsit, a superhero during the Second Weird War.
Not the World War, the Weird War.
Because their world, it mirrors ours.
Sure.
But instead of World War, it was Weird
mirror-
World.
It mirrors
And-
ours, but in a really
and
dumb way.
They fought the Ratsies. The Allies fought the Ratsies.
I like this now.
Yeah. All of a sudden it took a turn. It was so bad it got good.
Yeah. So in the Second Weird War, the animals fought the Ratsies. Our last member here is good old Chester Cheese,
Yeah.
and his name is Little Cheese. Is what he goes by. He's a mouse and a student.
He's the one that got really the kind of the short end of the stick.
He did literally.
I'm Chester Cheese. What are you going to call me? Just Little Cheese.
Little Cheese.
Okay.
Well, it's because
Damn it.
the power he got is that he can basically shrink his size from being comparable to his teammate size all the way down to just like a few centimeters.
Oh, wow.
So he's like Adam or Ant-Man.
Yeah, he's
That's the
Ant-Man,
kind of guy he
basically.
is. he did not get his powers from the meteor.
Sure. Why would he?
Yeah, no, he gained his powers from eating a piece of experimental cheese brought back from Earthsea's moon.
Sure.
Because the moon is made out of cheese in this world.
Experimental cheese. That's the title of this episode. Experimental cheese.
So that is Captain Carrot and his zoo crew of basically what all you can expect from them. They had during the run like a big baddie in each issue that they fought.
Okay.
And so it was just very all right, this issue we're going to fight this guy. Next issue we're going to fight this guy. Sometimes it lasts a couple issues, but I mean, Mike, great villains like Cold Turkey, who was a turkey with weather control and a cold ray device.
Sure.
There was also Frogzilla.
He also was really trying to quit smoking.
Cold Turkey.
Yeah.
Fiends like Armadillo, not Armadillo, Armadillo, and Feline Faust, just to name a few.
Feline Faust. Fantastic.
Now that's what ran through the 80s. Is this team here?
Frogzilla, is it just a giant frog?
Yes.
Okay.
Some of them aren't.
Good job.
Like there's a owl who he's a professor who like uses like scientific gadgets against them. His name's Dr. Hoot. So it's all stuff like that.
Dr. Hoot.
Dr. Hoot. So just looking through the names of villains for these were great.
Dear God, it's Dr. Hoot.
That was the run for the 80s there.
Yeah.
They did have...
It's just them fighting big bad guys or whatever, and that was it. Superman never shows back up.
No, there's like, they throw in other appearances from like older DC like animal characters, like I can't remember. Is
Horse
it Marvel?
guy.
No, it's like Marvel Bunny or something. There's a bunny back in the 40s that they made who I can't remember his name right off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But he was basically like an animal version of their Captain Marvel, who is now Shazam in DC.
But he was from the 40s, so he was in blackface or whatever.
Well, no, not yet. Come on, this is DC. We're not talking about.
Okay, I'm sorry.
We're not talking about Warner Brothers and Looney Tunes.
Gotcha. Okay.
But so like they had these characters that they had back in the past. They would use them to show up in as well,
right?
And kind of, I guess, pay homage to the past.
Homage to a very stupid past.
Very stupid past.
Okay.
Those 6 issues that they never released that they ended up releasing as the double issues there in the 80s was called like the Ozland Wars, but there was never a war. Like it was projected to be between like their world and like the city of Oz kind of thing. But none of that happened. So like the title of the book has nothing
to do with what actually happens. They couldn't get the rights to Oz.
I guess maybe not. Or no, I think one of the writers came back and said, well, after thinking about it, the people of Oz wouldn't want to fight. And so
plus they're all short.
That's true. And I mean, it'd be hard to beat up animals if you're like, oh, what a cute bunny, and then he punches you in the face.
I don't see these as being cute when they began. Like I think they're sentient. What do you call it? Not animorphs, but what are they? They're walking, talking rabbits and stuff. Yeah. I just don't. I don't like the idea of them being normalized like that either.
Well, get ready, Mike, because after 1983. They sat on the shelf for a while.
Okay.
And then somebody decided to pull them back out and put them as
Why wouldn't they?
In 2 issues of Teen Titans back in 2005 and 2006. And Mike, now that I've given you the cutesy story, let me tell you about how the new one went out. And this new story is told, it's kind of a fun way to do it. They tell the story of the zoo crew through like excerpts of a comic book being written. How about being read? Don't know what that was. By Kid Devil. Who is part of the Teen Titans.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I did not know that. Yeah. I did not know who Kid Devil was.
He was a newer member, like obviously in the 2000s.
Pardon me, comic book world. I didn't know who Kid Devil was.
But he's reading this comic throughout, and so they give you like updates on their story.
So it's like Inception kind of thing.
So let me just tell you about the zoo crew here.
Yeah.
The zoo crew is shown to have mostly disbanded and now lives in a darker world than their prior adventures.
Sure.
So basically why I included the explanation of this, Mike, is it's because if your boy Zack Snyder got a hold of the zoo crew and this is the movie he would make. You ready?
Yeah.
Little Cheese is dead. Yankee Poodle has lost.
Wait, how'd he die?
He was murdered.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Yankee Poodle has lost her secret identity and is a fugitive from the law, accused of trying to assassinate President Mallard Fillmore. Fastback has disappeared. Pig Iron and Rubber Duck operate as underground superheroes against the current anti-heroes law. And Captain Carrot is in self-imposed retirement after the death of his partner, Carrie Carrot, at the hands of Armadillo and Frogzilla. He has not left his apartment in years and drinks heavily out of guilt over Carrie's death.
That's great.
The only zoo crew member prospering is Alley Cat, who has revealed her identity publicly and become a world-famous magician.
So it's the Watchmen.
Yeah,
Yes,
pretty much.
it is.
Yeah,
It is.
Yeah.
So that's exactly why Zack Snyder would do it, because he's already done The Watchmen.
Hey, Zach, I know I've said a lot of bad things about you, but get on this, would you? Stop making all those zombie. God, that zombie movie.
It's like Watchmen meets Space Jam.
Yeah,
And I would
that
actually
is
watch
a good.
that.
That's a good description. Yeah,
It'll be a
Watchmen
7-hour movie, but
I would take 3 hours of Captain Carrot just drinking himself to death.
I just
It's just as a live stream of Captain Carrot just getting drunk.
It's also very much like, and they said that it's kind of, they wrote it like this to make fun of like the late 80s and 90s of comic books where it got kind of.
I got to put this in before I forget it. Jack Rabbit Daniels is probably what he's drinking.
I'm glad I let you get that one in there, because I definitely could not think of any rabbit themed spirits. So I wanted to include that there's still actually Captain Carrot was in something as recently as this year. So like the characters are still used randomly, but obviously the whole thing is not.
The wheels have
brought up
fallen
much.
off. At
The
this
zoo
point,
crew
yeah.
has been gone for the most part. I mean, this whole story, it's brought up again later on.
I would love to see a new zoo crew, but like a recap of how they disbanded. You know, how all these awful things happened.
I just wanted to include that because I thought it was a great way to, if Zack Snyder did it.
Yeah.
But like actually in the story, they've continued from there. And like Alley Cat is the one who killed Little Cheese.
Oh.
And sent Fastback into the future because he knew about her attempted suicide or attempted assassination attempt on the president.
Yeah.
Like it was just.
Wow.
But then it turns out that it wasn't really Alley Cadabra. It was a dark, evil alien taking her. Because
here we go.
It's comics.
Gotta
and
have aliens.
You got to make everything just as convoluted as possible.
Aliens, portals, multiple timelines.
But that's the zoo crew. I thought it would be a fun little bit of ridiculousness.
It was. It was great.
Cosmic Carrots. Another thing that is interesting about Captain Carrot, at least later on, is his powers don't stay. He has to eat the carrot to replenish it.
Oh, really?
So he's the only one of the
these
group.
Meteor carrots.
Yep. Cosmic Carrots.
How do you keep growing them?
He has a grow up apparently later on.
Okay, gotcha.
It's like you got to watch the sunlight.
Sure,
You know,
sure.
Got to make sure it's in a place.
a bunch of Home Depot buckets.
Yep.
in his
Yep.
basement.
You got to have some fans blowing on it. Make sure that the neighbors don't call because it smells like cosmic carrots around here.
Yeah,
Yeah. So things like that.
my kids got caught with cosmic carrots one time. It was not a great weekend.
Well, you know, I think we're at a point in our time in our world here where we should just ease up on cosmic carrots. Like,
I agree.
There's a lot of other
I say
things.
legalize cosmic carrots.
That's right. Well, I mean, Roger Rodney Rabbit would enjoy it.
Roger.
So Captain Carrot and his zoo crew, part of.
I mean, they come from the earth.
They do. Oh,
They're natural.
Another thing I didn't talk about. They do have some run-ins with some humans in the original run. With the, have you ever heard of the Inferior Five?
No.
We will do a book on
Let's do that.
We will do an episode on the Inferior Five here
Love
soon.
the fact that the inferior is in their word. And
They're
in their name. That's
basically
great.
they're like kids of superheroes.
Okay.
But they're awful.
That's
the premise of it.
That's a good premise.
I have that.
honestly.
And that's like, there's one, I remember there's one, what's her name? It's like Baby Doll or just some kind of doll.
Baby doll.
She's just ditzy and she's a model, but she's super strong, but she's an idiot. So she's there just to be pretty kind of stuff. Like it's things like this. We will definitely have the Inferior Five here soon, but.
Let me just tell you, looking at this picture that you sent me, the one thing that
It's a cool looking picture.
it is kind of a cool looking picture, but the one thing that sticks out to me is that the duck looks just like Daffy Duck.
Daffy or Donald?
Daffy more. When you really start looking at it, that's more of a Daffy face.
You're right. It is.
You know?
The bill looks more
Yeah.
Daffy-ish.
It's definitely a Daffy Duck with a bunch of extra feathers thrown on it.
True.
It says here that Roger Rodney Rabbit keeps 2 super carrots holstered on him at all times.
There you go. So that's how he just keeps them with him. Like, because I know like it lasts like 24 hours or something like that, or he can overexert himself, and so that's why he has to keep them.
24 hours. Exactly.
What's to keep somebody else from getting these carrots and eating them?
It's his grow up is hidden.
Oh. Well, they're in this picture.
He
they're
throws,
literally on his sides. You see that?
He throws a blanket over it. I don't know, or maybe they don't understand that he gets his powers from his carrots.
Sure.
He's fighting animals, Mike.
Well,
like,
that's true.
I have a Chihuahua who I love to death, but she might be the stupidest dog ever. So I don't expect. Oh, there's Z
love their
hideout.
building. Yeah, the building and
It's very Teen Titans-esque. Instead of a T, it's a Z.
Yeah, it's a giant Z with a bunch of windows. Yeah, that's great. Well, this was fantastic, Zach. Thanks so much. I do feel like I'm going to ask for some of this time back on my deathbed, but still, I thought it was great to learn.
Oh, well, one thing I will throw in there, too.
Yeah.
To close this out on the Zoo Crew.
Yeah.
They are part of a Robot Chicken bit as well.
Oh, really? Oh,
They
that
are.
makes sense. Sure.
So, I'll explain the bit, and it's funny when you go see it, is Superman has invited Green Lantern and Batman to Captain Carrot's funeral. And he thanks them for showing up. Captain Carrot dies.
Sure.
Green Lantern doesn't know about the characters at all.
Okay.
So they go and they start walking by him, and the fact that they're comic, like they're cartoon animals, keep causing him to laugh. Like he can't keep a straight face.
That's fantastic.
And it like shows like Pig Iron and Yankee Poodle and
they're all very sad.
all of them are the pallbearers.
Oh,
and they're
nice.
walking by and they're crying, and Green Lantern is just dying laughing. And he can't hold it anymore, so he leaves. Like he's like, I can't. He flies away.
Yeah.
The mouse, Chester Cheese, comes over to Superman, and
Little
he
Cheese.
goes, and he goes, your friend was very rude to Superman. And Superman goes, I'm so sorry, Little Cheese. And then Batman loses it, and that's how the scene ends.
That's fantastic. Yeah,
So
I love that.
so you
That's
can go
great.
even find a Robot Chicken reference to Captain Carrot and his amazing Zoo Crew. That is today's episode.
It was a great one, man.
Yeah.
Good job. I just am always so impressed with the amount of research you do.
Well, I appreciate it,
You are
and I even gave
very,
you. I
very
like.
good at these things.
I even got you to maybe read Who Censored Roger Rabbit.
Yeah. If it's an audiobook, I'll definitely read it.
I don't know who read it.
Hey,
but
again, today we're sponsored by Testacuzzi for the nuts. Testacuzzi, I just want to give you a warning. We're coming after you.
That's true.
Like we need that Testacuzzi money.
I'm not going to stop until we are the official podcast of the Testacuzzi.
I agree. I think that's a great. Hey, did
We're
you notice?
still not brave enough to like turn it on, plug it in, and put our nuts in it.
No.
No.
We do like it.
Yeah,
Have either one of you noticed?
it's very stylish looking.
Have either one of you noticed there's two little holes at the bottom of this thing?
Yeah, for the air.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's what I would assume.
I guess.
Yeah, that's the ball bubbling output.
Yeah,
All bubbling
the
output.
bubbles pop out of there. It's like the
BBO.
jets and
Yeah.
even though there
It's
is
a glorified aquarium aerator.
Yeah, it is. That's basically all it is. Yeah, it's an aerator.
but for right now we will
But it holds my phone perfectly.
oh, it's great.
Well, off to the side a bit, but still, interesting enough, it lilts off to the left a bit. But
Is never too bad there's not a squirrel superhero
that's true, isn't there?
in there's squirrel girl.
Squirrel Girl.
But I mean, as part of the
That's
zoo
a whole
crew,
different thing, though. Yeah.
as part of the zoo crew, there's not like some, Sammy Squirrel who is like,
Right.
I don't know, nutrageous or something like
He's
that.
nutrageous.
I don't know what his name would be, but he would
that.
love Testacuzzi.
All right,
So
Zach,
there we go.
Tell everybody where they can find us. And
You can find us on Instagram, BroFoHero on Insta. Feel free to email us at brosfoesandheroes@gmail.com. Tons of great stuff out there. Tons more coming your way. So I think that if anything, it's a blast for Mike and I and to do this.
it's been fun.
And I feel like, people enjoy listening to it as well. And we have nothing but more hilarity like this to come.
Yeah.
I promise in one of the next episodes coming up soon too, I have some stored away that I just find like super interesting.
Yeah.
And we'll do some of those too. But the ones like this are the most fun.
Oh no,
I
these
think.
are great. Yeah. I do remember seeing these when I was a kid, but I never read any of them.
It would have been
So-
after you went and saw the Doc Savage movie.
Yeah, it would have been after Doc Savage. You got it right. Yeah.
So-
right after the Roaring 20s.
There we go. That was episode 7. Captain Carrot and his amazing zoo crew. Want to thank you guys for tuning in as always.
Absolutely.
And make sure to stay safe. And until next time, don't eat cosmic carrots. There we go.
That's good.
Comic-Con! Pros and heroes. Gonna tell you about pros and heroes. Gonna tell you about...
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.